Some people may find it hard to believe, but wild turkeys are not normally associated with any kind of religious worship anymore, especially not after Thanksgiving dinner. However, domestic turkeys still hold a place of honor in some Central American countries where they are still revered as sacred animals. But this was not always the case. There was a time when both the wild and domestic turkeys were seen as sacred animals and were even worshipped. Today we will talk about these fascinating times and why turkeys used to be sacred. So let's get started. Number 4. Turkey. The scientific name of the domestic turkey is Meleagris gallopavo. This species of bird is native to the Americas and is found in the United States, Mexico, and southern Canada. It has been domesticated for thousands of years, and its ancestors were the wild turkeys. They belong to the pheasant family and are closely related to chickens, although turkeys are much larger than their cousins. Turkeys can grow up to 4 feet long and can weigh around 30 pounds. Their diet consists mainly of seeds and fruits, but they will also eat insects and small animals if given the chance. During mating season, male turkeys display their feathers in elaborate courtship dances to attract their mate. Once a female is chosen, she will lay several eggs, which she will sit on until they hatch. Turkeys typically live in wooded areas where they are well camouflaged by their brown and white feathers. They are mostly active during the day and spend their time looking for food and socializing with other turkeys. While turkeys are often associated with the holiday season, they actually play an important role in the ecosystem year-round. As seed dispersers, they help plants reproduce and grow by eating their fruit and excreting their seeds elsewhere. Additionally, turkeys are a source of food for predators such as mountain lions, bears, and wolves. They also serve as indicators of environmental health, as their presence indicates a healthy ecosystem. Despite their importance in the ecosystem, turkeys have faced threats from habitat loss and hunting. However, conservation efforts have helped to protect them, and their populations are rebounding in recent years. With proper conservation, turkeys should continue to be an iconic part of our natural heritage for generations to come. Number 3. The Maya. The Maya civilization flourished in Mesoamerica from around 2000 BCE to 1697 CE. Renowned for their impressive architecture, advanced mathematics, and sophisticated art, the Maya people were also deeply involved in religious practices that often intertwined with their everyday lives. One particular aspect of their religion was their veneration of certain animals, including the turkey. For the Maya, the turkey represented various deities, embodying their power and status. In their mythology, the turkey was seen as a sacred creature that served as an intermediary between the physical world and the spiritual realm. As such, they kept live turkeys in their temples and religious centers and used them in various ceremonies and rituals. These birds were not merely kept for religious purposes, but were also displayed during festivals and celebrations, showcasing the wealth and power of the Maya rulers. The Maya believed that by honoring the turkey and its symbolic representations, they could appease the gods and ensure their continued support. This reverence for the turkey is evident in numerous archaeological findings, including paintings, sculptures, and ancient texts, all of which depict the bird in a highly stylized manner, emphasizing its sacred significance. The Maya's fascination with the turkey extended beyond its religious connotations. They also kept domestic turkeys for their meat and feathers, utilizing every part of the animal. The Maya recognized the importance of the turkey in their ecosystem and respected its role as a provider of sustenance and material resources. Overall, the Maya's relationship with the turkey was multifaceted, encompassing religious, economic, and ecological dimensions. Their reverence for the bird as a sacred creature is a testament to the deep connection that indigenous cultures have with the natural world. Number 2, the Aztec. The Aztecs were an ancient Mesoamerican civilization known for their impressive city of Tenochtitlan, which now sits under Mexico City. They had a rich culture full of art, architecture, and religion. Unlike the Maya, who had many gods, the Aztecs had one main god named Huitzilopochtli, who was the god of war and the sun. He was very important to them because they believed he would destroy the world if he ever stopped moving. To keep him happy, they had to make him move by playing a special game called Ulamalisli. This game was similar to soccer or basketball, and the ball court was like a sacred stadium. The Aztecs played the game with a small rubber ball, and the goal was to get the ball through a stone hoop. It was a tough game because the players could only use their hips, elbows, and knees to hit the ball. If they used their hands or feet, they would be out of the game. The Aztecs took this game very seriously because it wasn't just a fun activity. It was a way to please their god Huitzilopochtli and keep him strong. They believed that if they made him tired, he would get weaker and the world would end. The Aztecs also had many other gods and goddesses, and each one had their own animal symbols. For example, the god Quetzalcoatl was represented by the eagle, and the goddess Cihuacoatl was represented by the turkey. The turkey was a very important animal for the Aztecs because it was connected to one of their most powerful and complex deities, Tezcatlipoca. Tezcatlipoca was a trickster god who wore a jaguar skin and carried a magical shield. He was a bit of a troublemaker, often causing chaos and mischief wherever he went. However, he was also seen as a bringer of change and transformation, and was often called upon to help those who were in need of healing or protection. The Aztecs believed that the turkey had magical powers and could help them connect with Tezcatlipoca. Therefore, they used the turkey in many different rituals and ceremonies. Sometimes they sacrificed them to show their god how much they respected him. Other times they used them in healing ceremonies to help sick people get better. And in some cases, they even used the turkey in exorcism ceremonies to help drive out evil spirits. The Aztecs believed that the turkey's power could be used for good or evil, depending on how it was handled. Therefore, they had to be very careful when working with these birds. Overall, the Aztecs had a deep respect and fascination with the turkey, and they believed that these birds were more than just animals. Instead, they were powerful beings that could help them connect with the divine and overcome their problems. Number 1. Social symbolism. The use of turkeys as a symbol of wealth and status was not limited to religious contexts. In pre-Columbian Mesoamerica, the possession of turkeys, particularly for the purpose of making offerings or participating in festivals, was a sign of wealth and power. This was because turkeys were not only valued for their meat, but also for their feathers, which were used to adorn clothing and accessories. Only the wealthy or nobility could afford to keep multiple turkeys and use them for these types of events. Therefore, having turkeys became a symbol of wealth and social status. This trend continued after the colonial period, but in a more subdued way. In some parts of Mexico, turkeys were still used as offerings to the Virgin Mary, and their meat was used in traditional dishes served at religious festivals. However, with the arrival of the Spanish, turkeys became more readily available and less associated with wealth and power. Despite this, traces of their former reverence can still be found in art and folklore. After the colonial period, as the Spanish began to conquer and colonize Mesoamerica, the religious landscape changed drastically. The veneration of local deities like Tezcatlipoca and Quetzalcoatl was replaced by the worship of the Christian God. This shift in religious beliefs led to a decline in the practice of sacrificing turkeys and other native animals in religious rituals. However, the legacy of the turkey's sacred status can still be seen in some aspects of Mexican culture today. For example, in the town of Santiago Tianguistenco, a small community of Nahua-speaking people still keep sacred turkeys that are descendants of the turkeys brought by the Spanish. These turkeys are not slaughtered or eaten, and instead are cared for by a group of elders who believe that they are the physical embodiment of the gods. Additionally, the turkey is still featured in traditional Mexican art and literature. Its image is often used to represent the country's indigenous heritage and its role in ancient religious practices. Furthermore, the turkey continues to be an important part of Mexican cuisine, with dishes like mole and relleno featuring turkey meat and showcasing the importance of this bird in the country's culinary history. Although the days of sacrificing turkeys to the gods may be over, the turkey remains an important symbol of Mexico's rich cultural and natural heritage. Thank you for watching. See you next time.